WHO will deliver me. Season 3, The Opening of the Gate. Scene 1, The door beneath the tree. The ground trembled violently beneath the forest. The giant glowing doorway beneath the dead tree slowly opened wider. Dark wind burst upward from the hole like something breathing beneath the earth. Villagers screamed and ran. The hunters of the Order of the Veil fired strange blessed weapons into the darkness. But the shadows swallowed everything. Amara floated helplessly above the doorway, crying in pain. Make it stop. The Whisper King raised one massive hand. The first seal is broken. Suddenly dark hands burst from inside the glowing doorway. Hundreds of them, reaching upward, searching. Commander Vale shouted, "Close the gate now." But Mama Grace whispered in fear, "It is too late." Scene 2, the first spirit crosses over the forest became unnaturally silent. Then one of the dark hands grabbed a hunter and dragged him screaming into the doorway. Blood splashed across the roots of the dead tree. Seconds later, something climbed out. Not fully human. Its body twisted unnaturally. Its limbs bent backward. Its eyes glowed pale white. The creature smiled slowly, then spoke in a child's voice, "We are free again." The hunters opened fire immediately. The bullets passed through it. The creature moved faster than human eyes could follow. Within seconds, 2 hunters were dead. Commander Vale screamed, "Retreat." The survivors fled into the storm while the creature watched silently from the darkness. Scene 3, Amara disappears after the chaos. Amara vanished. No footprints, no signs of struggle, nothing. Malik searched desperately through the forest. Amara. Elijah found only one thing near the dead tree, Amara's necklace. The cross her father gave her before he died. Elijah picked it up slowly. Then he noticed blood on the cross. Fresh blood. Mama Grace touched the necklace and suddenly gasped. Her blind eyes widened. She has crossed halfway. Malik frowned. What does that mean? Mama Grace answered quietly, part of her spirit is no longer in this world. Scene 4, the City of Whispers. Amara awakened somewhere impossible. A dark city covered in endless fog. Broken buildings stretched across the horizon. Shadow people wandered silently through the streets. No sky, no sun, only darkness. Amara walked carefully through the empty city. Then she heard crying nearby. A little girl sat beside a wall. When the girl looked up, Amara froze. The child looked exactly like her younger self. "Who are you?" Amara whispered. The child answered softly, "I'm the part of you trying to survive." Suddenly loud whispers echoed through the city. The shadow people all stopped moving at once. Then every head slowly turned toward Am. Scene 5, the Book of Seals. Back in Abanri, Mama Grace took Elijah and Malik to a hidden underground prayer chamber beneath her house. There she revealed an ancient book wrapped in chains. The Book of Seals. According to the book, 7 spiritual gates exist. Each gate releases greater darkness. The final gate brings the rise of the hollow throne. Malik turned pages nervously. Then he found a drawing. A girl standing between 2 worlds. The face looked exactly like Amara. Below it were written the words, "The Chosen Vessel." Elijah's face darkened. Chosen by who? Mama Grace looked upward slowly. That is what we must discover. Scene 6, the return of Miriam. That night Elijah dreamed of his dead wife again. He stood inside the burned church ruins. Miriam appeared wearing white, but something felt wrong. Her face was pale, her eyes completely black. "Elijah," she whispered softly. He stepped backward slowly. "You are not Miriam." The figure smiled unnaturally. Then her body twisted violently. Bones cracking, skin stretching. "You left me there." The fake Miriam screamed with dozens of voices at once. The church suddenly filled with shadow creatures crawling across the walls. Elijah woke up sweating heavily. Then realized something horrifying. The whispering from the dream was still continuing inside his room. Scene 7, the possessed village. By morning, strange behavior spread across Abanri. People stood motionless for hours. Children spoke unknown languages. Animals attacked their owners. Then the killings started. A woman murdered her husband claiming, "The shadows told me to." Another villager walked calmly into fire while smiling. Commander Vale placed the village under spiritual quarantine. Nobody allowed in, nobody allowed out. But deep inside, Vale secretly confessed to Elijah, "This has happened before." Elijah stared at him. "Where?" Vale hesitated, then answered quietly, "An entire city vanished because of one gate." Scene 8. Amara meets the chained man inside the dark city. Amara wandered through abandoned streets. Then she found a giant underground hall filled with chains hanging from the ceiling. At the center sat a man chained to a throne. Massive glowing chains pierced his body. He slowly lifted his head. His eyes burned gold instead of black. "You are not like the others," Amara whispered. The chained man studied her carefully. Then he spoke, "You should not be here." "Who are you?" Silence. Finally he answered, "I was the first gatekeeper." Suddenly the ground shook violently. Dark whispers filled the hall. The chained man looked afraid for the first time. "Run." Scene 9. The second opening back in the real world. The dead tree split open further. A second crack appeared inside the glowing doorway underground. Dark energy spread across the forest like smoke. Mama Grace collapsed suddenly. Blood poured from her nose. "The second seal," she whispered weakly. Commander Vale realized the truth. The gate is opening by itself now. Then all electricity across the region failed instantly. Darkness covered everything. Meanwhile inside the spirit city, Amara saw giant shadow creatures flying across the sky, searching for her. And far away in the darkness, a giant throne slowly began glowing. Scene 10. The throne awakens. The Whisper King finally appeared fully inside the spirit world. Massive, terrifying, surrounded by moving shadows, Amara stood frozen before him. He stepped closer slowly. "For centuries we searched for the perfect vessel." Amara trembled. "Why me?" The Whisper King touched her forehead gently. Instantly Amara saw horrifying memories. Ancient sacrifices burning kingdoms, generations of cursed daughters, demons entering bloodlines. Then one final vision, a baby wrapped in cloth, marked with the same symbol Amara carries. The Whisper King whispered, "You were chosen before birth." Amara began crying. "No." Then suddenly the giant throne behind the Whisper King fully awakened. Its eyes opened. Then suddenly the giant throne behind the Whisper King fully awakened. Its eyes opened. And a deep voice echoed across both worlds. "Bring her to me." Screen cuts to black. End of SEASON 3.